But here he attacks Monckton. This is Rudd out of Australia. Lord Christopher Monckton, a former advisor to Margaret Thatcher, was quoted this week in the Australian press by Janet Alberson. Lord Monckton describes the potential Copenhagen Agreement as a plan to set up a transitional government on a scale the world has never seen before. Enter the world government conspiracy theorists. Lord Monckton also publicly warned Americans that in the next few weeks, unless you stop it, your president will sign your freedom, your democracy, and your prosperity away forever. Correct. You are correct, Mr. Monckton. Janet Alberson, in her understated neoconservative way, refers to the potential Copenhagen Agreement as a UN power grab. This gaggle of world government conspiracy theorists are so far out there on the far right. Yeah, because I'm on the far right. Give me a break, folks. That they rub up next to the global anarchists of the far left. Oh, and I must be, see, I either have to be radically on the right or I have to be some kind of anarchist on the left. I can't be a person that believes in the Constitution and Bill of Rights. I can't be a person who believes in individual freedom and responsibility. I'm not allowed to be that person. You have to pigeonhole me into either I'm a conservative or I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal or I'm a Republican. They don't like people that see in between the lines. They see that the system works with these two parties in order to enslave us, the slave class. And if you think it's bad right now with over 10% unemployment, you wait till these bills get passed and it's 20 and 25% public unemployment. And they say, well, you know, we have all these other state-run programs like City Year that you could join or AmeriCorps, and that'll give you a job for a year, and, you know, we'll help you out, and you can go to the new mobile medical facilities. That's what they have here in Austin now. They realize people can't afford as much, so what do they have? They have the mobile health clinics. That's what you're going to see with this new health care bill. It's disgusting. It's sickening. All right, let's go back to this, because you notice he has not said that this isn't about global government yet. Rudd won't say this isn't about global government because it is. Now, he says the climate change deniers, see, no one is denying that climate change occurs. We were once Pangea. Climate has changed throughout history. But what they won't talk about are the solar flares that cause it. They won't talk about the sun cycles that have been proven throughout history to make the earth hotter or cooler. They don't want to talk about the facts. See, now we're going to put them in a position where they're deniers like Holocaust deniers. We're worse than Hitler. This is the Prime Minister of Australia. It's pretty gross. The climate change deniers now form the comfortable bedfellows of the conspiracy theorists in total bald-faced denial of the global scientific, economic, and environmental reality. No, we're talking about the global scientific, economic, and environmental reality. You're spraying the skies with barium and aluminum, creating artificial clouds out in the public, saying that you're blocking the sun because we need it to be cooler. Remember when you released that memo about 8 months ago and people jumped all over you? But we're denying the reality of the situation? No, we're bringing the reality out of the darkness and into the light. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We'll be back after this. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. Continue to read some of Rudd's statements. Again, the Australian Prime Minister taking on Lord Monckton. Then we're going to go back to Monckton, where he makes some great points in this Accuracy in Media conference, where he exposes what this Copenhagen Treaty and the global climate change movement is really about. Now, remember, he says the climate change deniers trying to associate us with Holocaust denial are now have now formed a comfortable bedfellows of the global conspiracy theorists. Now, here's the document right here in two different sections. They talk about a government over 24 times in here. In fact, let me go to page 18, where they lay it out as one of their pillars. One of the pillars of this treaty is a global government. The scheme for the new institutional arrangements under the convention will be based on three basic pillars. Government. See, we read the words on air, but do they have the impact at home? Do you understand what this is truly about? Do you get it? And we're going to take your calls here coming up in the next segment. 888-201-2244. That's 888-201-2244. Now it has unveiled thinly attempts to create a new climate change global conspiracy theory, which he complains is being used in Australia. He then says that these arguments have zero basis in evidence. I can hold up the bill on air. I can read the bill to you where they say one of the three basic pillars is government, where they talk about taxation and a carbon trading system over a dozen times, a global marketplace, an unelected government. But this is a theory that has no evidence to it. I have the bill right here. It's right here. I promise you. It's real. I didn't just take a long weekend and decide to write up some legislation that nobody's going to look at. It's not Jason Bermas, folks. It's the Copenhagen Treaty, I promise you.
One of the most serious spin-offs from this global warming nonsense, among politicians in particular, is that we are passing, partly through incompetence, partly through scientific ignorance and illiteracy, and partly through malice, from the age of enlightenment and reason in which you and I were born, into what could be, unless we stop it, a new dark age.
He's talking about a new dark age, and boy is he right. When we are so ignorant to believe that we are going to save the planet somehow by giving our corporate masters even more control over our lives and finances, and they're going to suddenly stop pollution. But it says in the bill that they'll be able to have tax-exempt status on certain companies and certain technologies, all of which they choose. This is not a democratic process. Do you understand? Let's read more what Rudd has to say. Where is the evidence that offered by the new League World Government conspiracy theorists that climate change can be effectively dealt with by market means or by uncoordinated national means? Do you hear what he's saying here? He's saying, of course we need a world government to fight this. We can't fight climate change by market means or uncoordinated national means. See, he's justifying the creation of this world government out of the treaty without saying it directly. Answer, there is none. The truth is that the do-nothing climate change skeptics, see, we don't do anything. We're only warning you that the elite are about to take another 10 to 20% of your income and start saying you can have 1 to 2 children. Otherwise, you're going to have to start paying for their schooling or paying an even more exorbitant tax. That's the reality. That's what this book right next to me says. That's another gem. Eco-science, population, resources, and environment. And by the way, in this book, they use global cooling as the big scare tactic. See, it was in our parents' generation, we were about to have another ice age. It was global cooling. But for our generation, it's global warming. But then they had to tweak that language too because they knew it was a lie. And they said, well, we'll just say climate change. And since the climate changes all the time, technically we can never be wrong. They love their little semantical wordplay games that enslave our minds and mesmerize our attitudes towards the establishment. Oh, we love you, establishment. You're going to save us from the sun. Meanwhile, they'll just make billions and trillions more. Who cares? They print the money, right? It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. Check us out 6 to 9 Sundays only at prisonplanet.tv and Infowars.com. Back after this.
Drifting along in the same stale